What's up, guys? We have some crazy, silly season news to go over today. I have to be caught up on everything because I was at Homestead Miami Speedway this weekend for the Trucks, Xfinity, and Cup Series races and was not able to cover all of this news. As you could see, there is a ton of it that was announced, probably a week's worth of news or more, and some announced today. And yeah, we have to get to it. I have to get caught up. I have to do my job here. Some of this silly season news, some of it just NASCAR news, and some of it just some news, that happened. So, so let's go with the first most important one, and this is basically the last big domino to fall in the Cup Series silly season. That is that Cole Custer is going to the Cup Series next year for Stewart-Haas Racing in the number 41 car. This was announced the day after we knew Daniel Suarez was leaving that car for next year. So Custer going to be a rookie next year in the Cup Series. He and all of the big three in Xfinity, he's one of them. Custer, Bell, and Reddick will all be rookies in the Cup Series next year, so that's awesome to see. We'll see who will win first if they do it all next year, and who will get the Rookie of the Year. I think Custer's had the best equipment with SHR, but you got Bell and Levine with a good Gibbs alliance, and Reddick in pretty disastrous RCR, and maybe Nemechek. John Hunter will be a rookie as well, but he probably won't be a contender for the Rookie of the Year. Tyler Ankrum, who drives for DGR Crosley this year in the Truck Series, just got the Rookie of the Year in that series because he's the only rookie that made it to the playoffs in trucks. It will go to GMS Racing next year in the Truck Series full-time. His number and crew chief will be announced at a later date. He will have Railblazers as a sponsor, just like he has for many races this year with DGR Crosley. And Tyler Ankrum going to GMS. I think it's a good move. GMS definitely a championship contending team. They're expanding their Truck Series team this year after they downgraded from last year to this year. So so that's cool to see Tyler Ankrum go to the GMS Racing camp in the Truck Series. All right, next set of news. Christian Eckes and Rafael Lessard will go full-time in the Truck Series for Kyle Busch Motorsports. Eckes will drive the 18 with sponsorship from Safelite Autoglass, and Lessard will drive the number 4 with sponsorship from Mobile One. Now, with Lessard going to the 4, that confirms that Todd Gilliland will not return to Kyle Busch Motorsports next year in 2020. It was already alluded to, but it's confirmed now. We already knew Harrison wasn't coming back because he's going to Gibbs full-time in Xfinity, and I don't know if this is the right choice. Eckes just won the ARCA Championship, got the owner championship for Kyle this year, did quite a bit of races this year for them in the 51 truck, so that's cool to see. And Lessard, he's done some races for them this year in the 46 and has not did so well, so I don't know, Kyle, you might be setting yourself up for another Harrison or Todd with Raphael. Rick Ware Racing will open up, expanding from 2 to 3 full-time cars next year in 2020 in the Cup Series, and J.J. Yaley will drive one of them full-time for Rick Ware Racing. It'll be J.J. Yaley's first full-time Cup season since 2007 with Joe Gibbs Racing. It is not announced which car number J.J. Yaley will drive, and he is the first to be announced as a full-time driver or as a driver in general for them next year. Garrett Smithley will probably be another one, and maybe Cody Ware. Daniel Hemrick going to be is the Rookie of the Year in the Cup Series this year, and Chase Briscoe is the Rookie of the Year in the NASCAR Xfinity Series this year. Chase Briscoe did a great job all year, and Daniel Hemrick had a great run, finished 12th at Homestead. Daniel Hemrick gets the Rookie of the Year, beat Ryan Preece, and beat Matt Tifft. He would have beaten Matt Tifft anyway, but he's out because of health issues. And even if Tifft wasn't out for health issues, he would have been in that car next year. Preece is going to be in that car next year. Hemrick is not going to be in that car next year, and he beat all of them. So I don't think that's fair. I don't think that Richard Childress going with two-time champion, 2-time in a row champion Tyler Reddick is really not the best idea to bring him up to Cup. come on, Hemrick. Only 1 year you had him. I think he should have at least 2. And I know Reddick had 2 different teams, championships, but come on. I don't know. I feel bad for Hemrick. Dale Earnhardt Jr. was announced earlier that he will do an Xfinity Series race this year for Junior Motorsports. In the 8 car, he will do 1. Jeb Burton will do 11, and Daniel Hemrick, as we were just talking about, will do 21. And it is now announced what race Dale Jr. Will race in the Xfinity Series in that 8 car, and that is Homestead Miami Speedway. Remember, Homestead Miami is going to be in March next year for all 3 of the series. Phoenix will be all 3 of the series championship destination, their last race. So yeah, that's cool to see at Homestead Miami Speedway in March. That'll be a good selling point for the Xfinity race and maybe the entire weekend. All 3 of the races next year at Homestead. Todd Gilliland, as we know, not returning to Kyle Busch Motorsports. His last race was at Homestead. He finished 8th, good top 10, but he thought he ran over some debris. They thought it might have been a squirrel. It turns out that it's a fox. And it's a fox on the track that he ran over. They found it in the engine, in the hood, and he still finished 8th with a dead fox under the hood. So I mean, that's really crazy there, that he a dead fox, he ran it over. It's pretty gory if you want to look at it on his Twitter page or Kyle Busch Motorsports' Twitter page. So I mean, that's pretty nasty. Joe Nemechek just got in the Truck Series race on Friday night at Homestead, just beat the most races ever in NASCAR National Series, beating Richard Petty. He tied Petty in the Cup race at Phoenix, and now he surpasses him. He's already surpassed him by 3 now since he did all 3 races this weekend. And Joe Nemechek with 1,187 races across all 3 series, the most ever. Front row Joe. Ray Black Jr., who races for SS Greenlight Racing in the NASCAR Xfinity Series this year, having a career year, will return to that team next year in 2020. I mean, I think that's great, a great move, and it seems like his teammate Greg Golding will also be returning, and Ray Black Jr. will have Sokern and returning as a sponsor, and will also still be in the number 07 car, and he blew up a ton at Homestead this weekend in the Xfinity Series race. The entire NASCAR Xfinity Series team of Tyler Reddick, the championship team, will be moving to Cup with Reddick. We already knew Reddick was moving in the 8 car to RCR, and they're already RCR in Xfinity, and we already knew Randall Burnett, the crew chief, would also be going. But now the entire team is going, so that's really interesting right there. Zane Smith, it was announced today, is going full-time in the NASCAR Gander Outdoors Truck Series for GMS. So once again, expanding their team. Like I already told you, Tyler Ankrum is going full-time there. So that's really interesting there. I mean, wow, they're really cranking it up. I mean, maybe this is mostly because they're shutting down their Xfinity team, most likely. It's not confirmed, but most likely. And Zane Smith, the car number and sponsorship will, or truck number and sponsorship will be announced at a later date. And his crew chief will be Kevin Bono Mannion, which is the crew chief currently, or last season, I guess, for Tyler Ankrum and DGR Crosley. And it's interesting, Ankrum's also going to GMS and trucks, but he's not going to be, his crew chief won't be Mannion, Zane Smith's will be. But Zane Smith did do 1 race in his only truck race and got 5th with, Bono Mannion as the crew chief. And number not announced. And that's really interesting. They're keeping Moffitt and Creed full-time next year. Then they're going to have Sam Mayer do 6 races next year. He did 3 this year. And he won the championship in the K&N East for GMS. And they're going to have full-time Tyler Ankrum and full-time Zane Smith. So that's really interesting right there. And Zane Smith did some Xfinity races this year for Junior Motorsports, did pretty well. 7 out of the 10 races, he got top 10s. That's actually really good in that 8 car. Now, next year, the Gander Outdoors Truck Series will be the Gander RV and Outdoors Truck Series. So that's really interesting to see. They're kind of changing up their name a little. It's a minor change, I know, but they are changing up their name. So, that's pretty interesting to see there. It's still Gander Outdoors is sponsoring them. It's not like a Camping World, the Gander change. It's just a tiny little name. change. It's still Gander Outdoors, but it's Gander RV and Outdoors Truck Series. Not a big deal or difference. So, of course, lots of big news, probably the biggest of which is Custer going to Cup for SHR. We already knew Suarez was leaving that 41. I wish they would have changed it to the 00, that car, because, you know, that's Custer's number, and that's what he is for SHR and Xfinity. And he was in trucks and his whole career. But, you know, I think Tony Stewart likes, and Gene Haas likes that 14 and 41 to go with AJ Foyt and stuff. So, of course, thank you so much for watching this video, guys. And I will see you on the next one. Bye-bye, guys.